All right, on the bench today is a Pioneer SX990. I've started going through this. I started troubleshooting it yesterday. Camera battery was dead, but I wasn't gonna hold off on doing anything. So here's the issue that I have found so far, other than kind of the normal clean the pots, all those things that I have not yet done. Turn this on. You notice that there's no lights, but there is sound. So absolutely no lights at all on the display. So I'm going to move the camera up top and we're going to look and see if we can find out what's going on. All right, so this is off of the dim bulb, and I'm going to take you to where I'm at currently with troubleshooting this. So volume is down, power is on. Let me ground this real quick. Oops, let's see. There we go. Man, there. All right. So if I measure voltage at any of the lamps, there's no AC DC voltage, right? Nothing. I think this is FM here, but there's no lights at all. That's a meter. No lamps, no voltage, no lights, nothing. So what I did, in this service manual, schematic, there's a lot that is to be desired of this. So as near as I can tell, here are the lamps, and I believe that the lamps are controlled by this indicator board right here, right? The stereo beacon comes off of that, and then it shows the indicator lamps, and my assumption is the dial lamps behind the dial face are also fed off of this indicator board. I could be wrong, but that's my suspicion. So what I did, gotta make sure this is off, is turning this over, unplug it. If I measure voltage, and I'm not gonna do this because I've already done it. If I measure voltage, well, what the hell, let me do it. Basically, I just started tracking voltages on this thing, right? So I wanted to make sure everything was, let me make sure this is, okay. So here's the board in question. So if I measure the wires going to and from the board, right? Nothing, 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 no AC. I think this is AC, no DC, right? So this board is fed off of the blue, let's see, I traced this yesterday. Which fuse was it? I think it's this fuse here. If I measure, sorry, it's like I can't get this in a good spot. If I measure this side of the fuse, I'm getting 8 volts AC. If I measure this side of the fuse, I'm getting nothing. So I suspect that that soldered, that's a fuse that's soldered in position. I suspect that fuse is bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to desolder that fuse, take it out, and see what's going on. Now when I replace that fuse, assuming it's bad, and I assume it's bad, assuming that fuse is bad, what I'm going to do is when I replace it and then plug it back in, I'm going to run it on the dim bulb, because while, I mean, a fuse can go bad, I think it's kind of odd. So it's likely that something else is shorted. Maybe someone tried to replace a lamp and shorted something. I don't really know. So I'm going to have to figure out, I really don't like cutting these, but I think on this one I may have to just slice it and then tape it up. Sorry, it's cold in my garage today. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on pulling that fuse out, testing it, replacing it, and then we'll see what happens. Sorry for the crooked camera there. All right, it's a balmy 36 in my garage this morning. So you might see the occasional breath. So measuring this fuse, nothing. So that fuse is bad. Still a little hot. Actually, it feels pretty good on my hands. So let's see what size this is. I think it's 3 amp, but I'm not sure. It's 3 amp, 125. Oh yeah, and I can see where it's broken. See, with that cover on, it looked like it was good, but it's actually broken up at this end. So I know, I'm almost positive I have 3 amp fuses. So let me grab a fuse, pop a new one in there, and see what happens. Ready? And turn it on. And super bright. So we got a short somewhere. Short in the indicator circuit. So see if we can track that down. All right, so I'm gonna flip this over and just kind of pull lamps, kind of see what's going on. I think that'll be my approach. So that'll be kind of boring. I'm just gonna pull the lamps and see with all the lamps pulled what this does. Okay, pulled all but 2 lamps, and I think someone had replaced the lamps. This is some shielding behind the like the FM level indicator, right on this side. And this was kind of sitting loose in there, crooked, so this may have been shorting something out. So I'm gonna see. I mean, that's all I've got right now. So let's see if I turn this on, what happens. Nope. So there is something shorted somewhere. There is a transistor on this board here. There is a transistor on this board here that I am going to test and see what's going on with it. Looks like it's pretty easy to get to. So I'll test this cap, that transistor, and see what's going on with those. So that was not it. Yeah, let me pull that board. Okay, so I had an idea when I was looking at this board. Let me unplug this. Let's disconnect everything from the board. Right, so we have black wire going to this part of the FM section. We have this black wire, purple wire, going to, I haven't disconnected this one yet. I got to figure out where this purple wire is going. Right, and I disconnected the white wire over here. So I'm still suspecting there's something here. And someone had desoldered this before down here. So I'm wondering if someone had tried chasing this down in the past. I don't know. So I'm going to solder, I'm going to reconnect these two because I'm confident those aren't causing the problem. I can unwrap this purple one from here. And hopefully it makes sense what I'm doing. I'm just trying to eliminate the external connections to the board to see if I can figure out what's causing, where the short is, what's causing the dim bulb tester to freak out. So purple wire has been disconnected. So everything has been disconnected. It's got to be short on this board. So it's got to be something on that board. So what I'm going to do is remove that capacitor, that transistor, check the resistors on here, and see if I can ID what the problem component is. All right, so I took that board out. I tested the components, couldn't find anything wrong. I still haven't figured the problem out yet, but I missed there's a blue wire coming off of this side of the fuse. So this has been eliminated. I basically, well, you saw what I did. I removed everything from this board. I thought something on the board was shorted, but it's not. It's coming through something attached to the other end of this blue wire. So I'm going to trace that, see if I can figure out where that's going and what the problem component might be. Well, I have a new one, something I have never seen before. Oh, goodness. I don't know what someone was thinking. Someone has obviously been in here before. So the blue wire feeds all of the lights, all of the lamps. So I go and I pull the dial panel, which is all smudged. You can see like fingerprints, and someone is not, you know, they weren't careful when they pulled that out. They didn't clean it off when they went in. And I look behind the dial and I have a bunch of 1 amp fuses. They're not lamps. 1 amp, 250 volts. 1 amp, 250 volts. Like, I'm speechless. I mean, obviously someone thought fuses went in there. Crazy. So to confirm operation, and you'll see, let me turn this off. You'll just see the lights come on over here on my hand. Sorry, I was using one of these knobs just to make sure I could turn that on and off quickly. So I'll turn this on. You can see my hand light up with the cool blue LEDs. So that's what it was. That's bizarre. I'd never seen that before. So I'm going to button this back up, and hopefully the light issue has been resolved. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, now that's not good. See, that popped right off of there. So I'm going to have to go through and just make sure that all of these lamps are good. I have to fix this one. That just slid right out. So anyway, now I'm just going to go through, put everything back together, and I don't know. I just don't know. That's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Next shot will hopefully be of me having this all put back together. That's going to be, oh man, that's going to be, I don't know how I'm going to fix that. That's, just kind of came right apart. So anyway, I have to put my thinking cap on and figure out how to fix that, but hopefully when I come back everything's good.